So, something that I learned very recently is that Brazil is the deadliest place on earth. It is a fact. E aí, beleza, bem-vindo, what's up, what's good, and welcome to the Brazilian podcast, the unofficially named How to Live in Brazil podcast with me, your host, Stephen. Today's episode is part 2 of the 10 things you didn't know about Brazil, probably. So, without further ado, vamos continuar. Fact 6. Salsa isn't Brazilian, Samba is. So yeah, salsa music, which is normally recognized as Latin music. Brazilians are Latin, but when people think of Latin, they think of more the Spanish-speaking places. So you could think of like Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic. You could probably think of maybe Colombia, Cuba. These places have a lot of salsa in them. They have a lot of jazz and all the rest of it. Brazil also has a lot of jazz, but Brazil has samba, which is a little bit more rooted in its African roots. I mean, if you listen to the difference between samba and salsa, samba has a lot more drums in it, a lot more percussion, whereas salsa has a lot more horns, I would say. Okay. So, just another thing, sort of like point 6.5. Bossa Nova is Brazilian jazz, and Brazilian sort of pop music would be called MPB, which is Música Popular Brasil. And this is where a lot of the sort of classic Brazilian songs come from when it's not Bossa Nova. Obviously, a lot of people know Bossa Nova, so they might know like The Girl from Ipanema and songs like that, you know. Hola, que coisa mais linda, na, 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 na. Alright, this one ties in pretty well. So Brazil is the birthplace of Seu Jorge, who is a Brazilian singer, songwriter, actor. He starred in the classic Brazilian film Cidade de Deus, City of God, where he played Zé Galinha, Knockout Ned. He was the leader of the rival gang of Zé Pequeno, Little Zé, if you remember that film. At the time of recording this, the kid who played Zé Pequeno, Little Zé, when he was a child, is currently in the Brazilian Big Brother house. So, vote for him. So, back to Seu Jorge and City of God. He's an amazing actor. He's an amazing singer. Some of the best music you'll hear in Brazil. He has a lot of great covers from people like David Bowie, etc. He sings in English and in Portuguese. So he's currently starring in a film, Medida Provisória. I've never seen that word before, which is probably why I've just butchered it. But Provisória. In English, Executive Order. This is directed by Lázaro Ramos, who is a very famous actor, director, also starring his wife, Thaís Araújo, and Alfred Enoch, the Brazilian British actor, who, I don't know, I think he played someone in Harry Potter. I've never seen Harry Potter, but I remember when I watched him in How to Get Away with Murder, where he plays Wes, the black student. I remember who I was watching with said that he's also in Harry Potter. So, you know, some of these actors do cross over. Seu Jorge has also been in, what was he in? He was in a Wes Anderson film. And Lázaro Ramos, who directed this film, was in a film called Opaio, which means oh my god, I believe if you translate it in English, which is based in Salvador, Bahia, where he co-stars along with Wagner Moura. And Wagner Moura is the actor from Narcos, the main actor who plays Pablo Escobar, who is obviously the Colombian drug lord kingpin, but he's actually played by a Brazilian. Again, some of you might know this stuff, some of you might not. And Wagner Moura is also in another film that you have to see if you haven't already seen it, another classic, a bit like City of God, called Bope, or Tropa de Elite, which is another classic talking about gangs and, you know, police and all that sort of stuff. So these are classic films. So anyway, we've gone full circle with the actors and actresses. Cool. Okay, keeping it artistic, let's talk about literature for a second. Number 9. Oh, sorry, shit, we haven't done number 8. Okay, cool. Number 8, there are 27 states in Brazil. Well, there's actually 26, and then there's the federal district, which is where Brasilia is. Remember I mentioned before, Brasilia is the District Federal of Brazil. It's the capital of Brazil. And the states are Acre, Alagoas, Amapá, Amazonas, Bahia, which is where we are right now, Ceará, the federal district, Espírito Santo, Goiás, Maranhão, Mato Grosso do Sul, Minas Gerais, Pará, Paraíba, Paraná, Pernambuco, home of Recife, Piauí, Rio de Janeiro, and Rio Grande do Sul. Cool. Just a quick 8.5. The stars in the Brazil flag represent the states. A bit like the United States, I believe. Cool story, bro. Number 9, I like this one. So, Brazil has many great authors, and one in particular is Paulo Coelho, who is responsible for The Alchemist, which is an amazing book. It's on, I think every celebrity's reading list. If you have read it, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't read it, it should be on your list. If it's not already on your list, get round to it when you can. That's a really good book. But weirdly enough, my favorite book ever is another book written by Paulo Coelho. It's called The Witch of Portobello. And I stumbled across this book when I was living back home in London, where I'm from, Ladbroke Grove, which is where Portobello is. And I just thought, okay, let me make the connection. This is back when when I was still a Brazil-obsessed person. I just wanted to, read it. I think I read The Alchemist beforehand. And the reason why The Witch of Portobello is so great for me is because it's a series of accounts told by other people about the protagonist. So completely spoiler free, I'm not going to give anything away here. But just that style alone of writing and just learning about a character who you never really hear from their point of view. It's always from the point of views of others. I just found that fascinating, and I was reading it and I got to a point where I realized, hold on a minute. This person hasn't actually said anything. These are just people saying that she said something. It's a really interesting read. I highly recommend it. Great author. He's got so many great books and they're very well translated. So, yeah, Paulo Coelho is fact number 9. Last but not least, fact numero 10. Brazil did not invent football. No, I'm kidding. I know nobody thought that. But anyway, Brazil have the most World Cups. They currently have 5. And in second place with the most World Cups are Italy and Germany, who both have 4. And France, the current champion, have 2, along with Uruguay and Argentina, who also have 2, whilst England and Spain have 1 each. Also, England are not the inventors of football either. According to Wikipedia, it's China. But yeah, Brazil is also the only country ever to qualify for every single World Cup since the beginning. Alright, so there you have it. 10 facts you didn't know about Brazil, probably. So, one of the reasons why I did this, apart from the fact that I wanted to get everybody up to speed in terms of things that we might not have known, and I'm sure there's plenty more facts that we could talk about, as well as some fact checkers that might even feel like something might be a little bit incorrect here. And we'll get into other things as well in the comment sections. But another reason why I wanted to do this episode is because I found something out about Brazil that I had no idea about literally this weekend, and I was just very, very shocked. Not because I doubted this could be true about this country, but just because I don't feel this is something that is necessarily promoted or should be promoted. And what does it mean? So without further ado, Brazil is the deadliest place on earth. So yeah, we all know you can get pickpocketed, you can get mugged at gunpoint in Brazil. Yeah, there's a lot of gang violence and police brutality and assassinations, but I'm not talking about that. I went out a couple of days ago with my boys and we were just catching up, and I was trying to tell them about, the communidade and the podcast and get them to join and stuff. And I just thought I'd slip it in. So I was like, hey, what have you found out about Brazil that you didn't know? What is some facts that you think is quite interesting? One of them actually replied, talking about the infamous Queimada Grande, aka Snake Island. I had no idea about this. So this is a place so dangerous, people aren't allowed to set foot in it. Only those with Brazilian naval authorization. And even then, you can only enter when you're accompanied by a doctor. This is a place, an island, which is home to about 50 venomous snakes per 100 meters. So, something that I learned very recently is that Brazil is the deadliest place on earth. It is a fact. I mean, take that how you want to take that. I'm talking about a snake island. I'm not talking about anything else, although other things could be included in to help that statistic, but I'm literally talking about Snake Island. Did you know about that? Let us know in the comments. Communidade. Is that a place that you'd like to visit? Me personally, I don't have a problem with snakes. I've carried about 3 snakes in my life. All of them probably didn't have any kind of venom inside them or whatever, but boy, I've seen things in this country, like seen people get like nearly paralyzed, need months of recovery after snake bites. So this shit is real. Alright, so on that note, we'll leave it there, on that happy note. So again, communidade, I hope you liked the episode talking about the facts of Brazil, talking about things you probably didn't know about Brazil. And as you know, this communidade is all about enlightening our knowledge going forward. So of course, I would love to hear from yourselves. Please add some extra facts in here. We have episodes that come out twice a week. That's Wednesdays and Sundays. So click the notifications bell or whatever you need to click in order to be notified. The next episode is going to be absolutely amazing. I'm so excited for it because it will be the results of the homework that I set you guys. So communidade, again, the homework, if you haven't already done it, is to let us know what things you would have loved to have known before you came out here. And for those who've never been here, what would you like to know before you get here? And for those Brazilians who are listening, what is it that you wish we knew, us gringos, before we came here? Again, so do that homework. I'm so looking forward to sharing those results in our next episode. Your support has been amazing so far, so let's just keep it up. Really, really do appreciate it. Send in your recommendations for subjects, questions. Tell us what you think. That being said, obrigado, até logo, thank you, see you later, and peace. Eu